Fernando Alonso's new deal with Aston Martin that came pretty much out of the blue a few days ago cleared a few things up when it comes to the driver market for the 2025 season, but a lot of things are still unclear. And while Carlos Sainz probably won't be joining Aston Martin now, it does seem like the time is running out for the Spaniard to get into a good team, especially after the latest Mercedes move, which could make him rethink his potential choices. The Formula One driver market was definitely going to be like this after Lewis Hamilton's switch to Ferrari became public knowledge. However, recent indications suggested that a different Spanish driver, not Fernando Alonso, would be the first to make a move. Carlos Sainz's availability had sparked discussions with several potential teams, and there were signals from Sainz's camp that he was eager to make a prompt decision and settle his future. I must admit, I should have anticipated Alonso beating him to the punch. This is the same Fernando Alonso who stunned Alpine in 2022, announcing his move to Aston Martin the morning after the Hungarian Grand Prix, catching Alpine off guard as they were still negotiating an extension. And if you remember, that decision set off the Oscar Piastri saga, and while this latest deal may not have the same magnitude of consequences, it will undoubtedly leave a mark. Alonso has secured an appealing seat for at least the next 2 seasons, committing to race until at least 2026 at the age of 42. While there are lingering questions about Lance Stroll's points contribution to Aston Martin, the team emphasises the value of his technical insights. There hasn't been any significant discontent suggesting Stroll could be replaced. Therefore, while it's risky to make assumptions in this year's driver market, let's eliminate any possibility of an opening at Aston for 2025. Now, this is where Sainz comes into the fold, because Alonso's commitment effectively shuts the door for Sainz to the Silverstone-based outfit. Although the Ferrari driver was indeed drawing interest from Mike Crack's team, it was more contingent on Alonso choosing to move elsewhere or retire. Sainz and his team are adamant that he doesn't want to linger in hopes of an opening at Red Bull, where concerns still persist about Max Verstappen's influence and the 2026 power unit situation, and we'll talk about this later. But Mercedes, a team that was previously thought to have other plans, as Toto Wolff hadn't shown the level of interest Sainz desired, because Kimi Antonelli is clearly the team's priority. This has apparently changed now, but Sainz seeks stability after leaving Ferrari, something neither of these top teams can offer at this stage. However, there's a longer-term project at Audi that Sainz has frequently been linked with, offering a more secure future provided he acts swiftly. And despite a period of uncertainty due to a lack of investment, the team now has its sights set on the following season, banking on developments like the new campus and Honda's partnership. Alonso's decision to stay put reflects the appeal of Aston's ongoing project. This same allure could have appealed to Sainz, but with that door closed, Audi or a wildcard seat at Williams seem the most probable options for finalising his future soon. Both choices come with risks, though, potentially hindering Sainz's progress in 2025, and doubts linger over Williams' ability to make significant strides in 2026. Rejecting either option leaves Sainz reliant on Red Bull parting ways with Sergio Perez or Max Verstappen moving elsewhere, scenarios that, let's be honest, are probably quite unlikely to materialise anytime soon. If Audi secures its 2026 lineup promptly, that opportunity may also disappear. The Alonso announcement means bad news for Sainz, who has now got one less choice for 2025. If Aston Martin was one of the teams and him partnering with Lance Stroll in the role of the #1 driver, now Alonso will be that even beyond 2026, when the new regulations set place and Aston Martin starts its partnership with Honda. In fact, with Mercedes and Red Bull both said to have a favourite for their open seats in Kimi Antonelli and Sergio Perez respectively, Sainz has seen his options slashed to just 2, Williams and Sauber, according to F1 correspondent Lawrence Barretto. Alonso committing to Aston Martin shuts one door for Carlos Sainz, he said on X. Sources say that leaves Williams and Sauber as the 2 most likely landing spots for him, unless Red Bull decide they do want to partner him with Max again. While it's a remarkable deal for Alonso and Aston, ensuring the two-time world champion continues racing until at least 45, it underscores the necessity for Sainz to act fast in the face of a rapidly shrinking pool of options, further worsened by Alonso's decision. Former Formula One driver KARUN sympathises with Sainz over his limited 2025 options, given he's the only driver outside of Red Bull to have won a race since 2022. But today, he's looking at joining a team in the lower half of the grid, if not at the very back. Suddenly, you've got a race winner from the last 2 seasons who is potentially looking at one of the sort of bottom 5 teams for his future, said CHANDHOK. I think it's a bit of a shame, and to be honest, it is a bit of a shame because Sainz is a talented driver, and imagine what that would do to the sport if Sainz goes to a team like Williams, who don't even have a reserve chassis, forcing them to bench one of their 2 drivers in an F1 race. But looking at it from the bright side, Sainz would be a key component in lifting the team into the midfield and beyond, because in Alex Albon they already have one driver performing at the top of his game, and bringing the Ferrari driver on board would add more talent and technical skill to James Vowles' arsenal. The Sauber-Audi partnership, however, is a much more appealing option, considering the ties Sainz has primarily with Andreas Seidel, and also the fact that his father is the reigning Dakar Rally winner with the German manufacturer. The Swiss outfit are becoming an Audi Works team in 2026 with a bespoke power unit program and lofty ambitions, and Sainz, with his connections, is definitely a realistic possibility. The 2025 driver market has been intensifying for more than 2 months, particularly with recent reports from Italian media. Corriere dello Sport has indicated that Sainz might have already inked a contract with Mercedes, potentially replacing Hamilton, and just a few weeks ago, even Spanish media outlets speculated that the 29-year-old could join the Silver Arrows. Now, according to Corriere's report, Mercedes has proposed a 1+1 year deal to Sainz, with the option to extend for 2026, as detailed in a post on X by Mercedes AMG F1 News. For the Austrian team principal, the admiration he has for Kimi Antonelli is simply huge, as Wolff holds a special regard for the young talent, although he insists on evaluating Antonelli's progress in his debut F2 season, despite having no doubts about his speed, talent or potential. Wolff has been supporting Antonelli since his karting days, convinced they have a future F1 prodigy in their midst. However, he acknowledges the urgency in identifying George Russell's partner at Mercedes. Some of the top drivers will soon make decisions about their future, but I feel it's important not to rush ours, Wolff admitted. It's a risk we're taking. Drivers, especially those with expiring contracts, are eager to secure their positions and cannot afford to be left out or settle for subpar options. Carlos Sainz, currently experiencing a peak in performance and intelligence in F1, is one such driver. However, enticing offers from other teams, notably Audi, have imposed deadlines for responses from Ferrari's Sainz. Wolff understands the urgency, but knows that decisions from interested drivers won't likely come before the summer break. Wolff's cautious approach may come from awaiting potential responses, one from Max Verstappen's camp and another from Antonelli's on-track performance, and yet it's a calculated risk worth taking. Reports suggest Sainz is highly interested in Mercedes. However, contractual details currently present hurdles. Sainz seeks a multi-year deal, while Mercedes leans towards a single year with conditions for a possible extension, aiming for flexibility in 2026 to potentially pair Russell with either Antonelli or the coveted Verstappen. This is a big proof that Sainz will only be a short-term solution for Mercedes and Toto Wolff until Antonelli becomes mature enough to drive in F1, and that's something Sainz cannot afford at this stage of his career, but rather he needs to join a team which will give him a good enough car to fight for the championship. At the age of 29, you simply can't be a stopgap option for a young and potential talent who's yet to prove himself. Mercedes need to get their act together, because offers like this are part of the reason why they lost Hamilton in the first place. Losing Sainz to a similar thing would be another disastrous bit of planning from Toto Wolff and his team. Let's see if it happens. What do you think? Where will Sainz end up now that the Aston Martin door is closed? Thanks for watching today's video. We'll see you in the next one.